Welcome back to the Top 6 show. Today we are sponsored by the leading global fantasy football game, So Rare. Please click on the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen now to sign up to your free account. Welcome back to the Top 6 show on the Football Terrace, of course, sponsored by So Rare. What a panel we have for you tonight. We're talking transfers and we're previewing the biggest one-off game of the season, the Champions League final between Real Madrid and Liverpool. Will it be repeat or revenge? That's to come later. Transfer stories, Chelsea and Man United looking at Nkunku, with United set to bid for the player officially next week. Frankie de Jong's price has been set. Could Serge Gnabry be on his way back to Arsenal? And some really positive news for Chelsea and Liverpool surrounding Tchouaméni. That and much, much more to come. So don't go anywhere else. Strap yourselves in. When you look at the panel, we've got Tom Little to come as well. But Neeks is back with us today. Anita's back on the terrace. It's always a pleasant day when Anita's back. The kid, have hope. He's here, a.k.a. Sebastian, a.k.a. the Don Daddio. And, of course, he's recovered. This man got cooked to win an injury life a few weeks ago. EGAL is back on the terrace today, having his say. Make sure you're all smashing like buttons, you're subscribing, and, of course, sign up to your brand new free account with So Rare now. The links are in the live comment section, description below. You can scan the QR code on the screen as well. But how's everybody feeling after that dramatic Sunday and end to the Premier League campaign?
Good. Look. We based on what happened on Sunday, we need things to really pop off this Saturday, really, And obviously we'll get to this, but Liverpool have to win on Saturday, because if they don't win, the Klopp Pep thing is looking a bit iffy. It's looking a bit iffy, man.
I'm just happy to be on the stream with Anita. It seems like it's been about 500 years.
No, she's too big for us now. Like, I'm seeing her like on CNN, BBC, at the Oscars. Look, man. Don't forget us little people, man. I was gonna say, don't forget us little people, man.
It's true. To get her on the show today, we had to speak to
You're
her.
on mute.
I was saying, let's move on from that. Let's move on. Anyway, I'm doing great. The weekend was great. Apparently, I'm not allowed to celebrate Liverpool not clinching the title, but I celebrated anyway. I got a couple drinks. Listen, when my rivals aren't happy, I'm happy. So it was a great Sunday for me, man.
It was a great end to the campaign, and I said at the time, it was absolutely beautiful to share it with all of you. But I mean, Gal wasn't there, but I have hope was there earlier. It was great to see.
But Terry, do you know how crazy? I think literally the moment I left, Homeboy and Matt Cash scored. I think literally a few minutes when I left the stream and the place, I was like, the moment I leave, everything just goes crazy.
No, it was an amazing end, and now we start to move into. Silly season, but I love it. Do you know what I don't like about the transfer window is that some of the stories get shut down too quickly by some of these journos. Now let it cook for an hour at least. Fans love the excitement or even the pain of it going wrong, and it's like every 5 minutes there's a new report and everything else. But
you know what's funny? Fabrizio tweeted, Diego Carlos, Aston Villa is progressing, and then 20 minutes later, done deal. And it was like, oh, wait, what? That was a quick progression. Obviously, he must have got the news late, but Aston Villa just moved in very, very... They did the same thing with Danny Ings. Don't you remember? Danny Ings was just signed, like 20 million agreed, or 30 million, whatever it was. Like, yeah, they moved very, very good, actually. Very good.
Do you know what I think it is with certain clubs? Because there isn't a lot of rumour, because they're the size of them, their deals seem like they're happening quick. Where if it was Man United that were after Carlos today, or Chelsea or Arsenal, that rumour would have started 8 weeks ago, and it feels like it's prolonged. Does that make sense? Like transfers used to happen out the blue when we were younger, when you had to wait for the morning newspaper. How many of you remember being on holiday and it used to take, like, the newspapers came to you like 2 days out of date, and you had to know the transfer news, and that was more exciting because you'd see a bit of news that would say Man United close to Rooney on like a Monday, and sometimes you have to wait for like 2 editions later. And
I remember, Terry, it was a 2012 Euros, and I didn't know until like the second group game that Spain were playing Fabregas as a false nine, because the news wasn't available. I was like, oh shit, Like, where's the striker?
No, it's absolute madness. And speaking of strikers, one of the first stories I wanted to start off with today is in relation to the RB Leipzig forward Nkunku. Both Chelsea and Man United have been incredibly linked with him. And then this afternoon, the news has come out that Man United will submit a bid next week, which has led to a sort of variety of responses from people. Some suggesting, so the Muppeteers have kind of said, this was a Ralph link, so nothing surprising that we're still linked to him. There's no word coming out of Germany that he would refuse Man United because of no Champions League football. You then get the Chelsea element, who are in a much better position than Man United. They're much further along in the process, as it were. Who wants to take this one first? Can we see, first of all, Nkunku leaving RB Leipzig and coming to the Premier League? And if so, where do we think he may end up?
Is Liverpool off the table? Just asking.
I haven't seen them linked to him personally.
Liverpool have actually been linked to Nkunku as well. They've been linked to him. And I feel like if Liverpool are very serious about bringing him in, which I don't see any reason for them to want to bring him in anyway. But if they're very serious about it, then obviously it will be kind of a battle between Chelsea and Liverpool. But as far as Man United,
man, whoa, what is going on here?
Bro, we're keeping it real. We're keeping it real.
Let's keep it real then.
Leipzig fought hard, so hard to get a Champions League spot. Yes or no? Right?
Okay.
Why on earth would Nkunku now leave after fighting that hard to play in the Europa League?
He couldn't even beat Rangers in the Europa League.
Cash.
He has got business to sort out in the Europa League. He couldn't even beat Rangers.
No. Nick, stop that. Uncle Nick, stop that. Don't do that. Uncle Nick, just stop that.
Yeah, that's a cheap excuse, a very cheap excuse. If you had said money, then fine. But as far as it goes, Nkunku, he started something. He wanted to get into that Champions League spot. Leipzig were not in a great place at the start of the season. They ended up in the Champions League spot. Now he's probably going to want to stay in that Champions League. So if he does leave, whether it's for more cash or not, he will want Champions League football.
I need to say, for me, with these things, you are right to an extent, but we just don't know what's in the person's mind. It's the same thing with like Frankie de Jong. I don't know, what do you value more? Do you value football heritage and the importance of the Champions League or money? Like last night, I was just doing a show and we looked at the wages of Man United. It's crazy. So United can say, yes, we're in the Europa League, but we're still Man United for whatever that's worth. Even though it's more like Boychester divided. Now, let's get it's Boychester divided. But it's like, we can offer you more than most of the guys. Like, apart from PSG, I don't think that Chelsea or Liverpool can match the kind of wages that they can give. Nkunku. So I think with Nkunku, what is your priority?
At this moment in time, Anita hit the nail on the head, I think. Obviously, if somebody else comes in and Manchester United don't have a free road, he's probably going to consider going to Chelsea or Liverpool. But at this moment in time, Manchester United still have the financial power to outbid those teams. So if he's looking at trying to get the best pay package, he might get the best pay package at Liverpool. But if he's going for the best sporting outfit, Chelsea and Liverpool might be the best.
Wait, all right, slow down a second. Chelsea,
no, that's just the reality.
No, it's not the reality. Liverpool, Liverpool, I take it. Especially if Firmino goes, which it looks like, and obviously Mane is gonna make his decision after the Champions League. You're staying, mate. Just forget it. Nobody cares.
So you disagree with Chelsea?
Well, one second. But in a hypothetical situation where Firmino and Mane end up going, then yes. If Liverpool want him, he's gonna go there because that's two spaces opened up. He's battling with Jota basically for a position. So I think that's a perfect storm. Chelsea are good, but Chelsea are not in this perfect, great situation, sporting project. Let's be honest.
Todd B is cooking. Nick's Todd B is cooking.
You've never met him. So
I have actually.
Call him by his full name. You don't know him like that. But like Chelsea are in a situation where no one really knows where they're going. What is their sporting project? They've got a world-class manager. That's it. That's literally it. We don't know where Chelsea's going.
The thing is, having a world-class manager is more than enough to bring a player to a club.
I'm not saying that you can't.
But wait,
let's not over egg it like they're on the same project as Liverpool.
Let me finish. This, we don't know where Chelsea's going, blah blah blah. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. I've been hearing it since
one more time. We don't know where they're going.
Thank you. And now you can stop saying it because I've been sick and tired of it. Because Todd Boehly, he's going to be announced either today or tomorrow. It's going to happen, right? Todd Boehly is happening. What Todd Boehly wants with this club will all be revealed. Will all be revealed with Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel can now sell that project. But what is clear with Todd Boehly coming in is that he's given Thomas Tuchel the autonomy over this squad, so that he can now have a proper rebuild with the squad. And if Nkunku wants to come in to a rebuild, that, for example, if we sell Timo Werner, if we do send Romelu Lukaku on loan, if we sell Hakim Ziyech, who's now up for sale as well, apparently, if we sell all these forwards, Nkunku, he's gonna the selling point is that you are gonna be the center of my rebuild in the attack.
I don't even disagree with it, but then that's why I said that it's up in the air, because of course there's ifs and buts with everything. But where's Lukaku going? Who's buying him? Where's Timo Werner going? Who's buying?
They'll be sorted out. Trust me. We'll cross the bridge when we get there.
You've got Werner's heavily linked to Borussia Dortmund, heavily.
You have got,
and they just bought Karim Adeyemi. A Karim Adeyemi and Timo Werner link up is more deadly than a lot of us can probably.
Be happy with Lukaku. You spent 100 million on
my
African
God,
Belgian brother. Be happy, because some of us need strikers. You can't have them all.
Do you know what's
ridiculous now? You can't have them all.
Do you know what's interesting? No, do you know what's interesting? But I think both arguments hold water. One thing I will say about Man United in their defense is every single summer since 2013, rivals say, no way that player is coming to you in this position. And we have consistently pulled these deals off. What I'm kind of liking about this summer, though, is we're doing the opposite to what that idiot Woodward used to do, where he would either brief the press indirectly or sit on an interview and say, we can do things in the transfer market nobody else can. We've got loads of money. We're painting this picture at the minute that we're broke, that we're spending £80 million tops on all of our players, but yet we're out here and it's confirmed we're speaking to like 6 or 7 stars that would, if we landed all of them, would cost like £250 million. So I kind of like our approach. I think a lot of this, some of it will of course come down to money because players want to get paid, get their bag, and that's absolutely acceptable. I think it's going to fall down to which project is sold best. The advantage we have compared to the last couple of summers with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is we have a manager that's exciting to play for. Erik ten Hag is well regarded in the world of football. Is he at Tuchel's level? Is he at Pep or Klopp's level right now? No, I wouldn't say that he is. But you've got the Man United pool in itself. You've got Erik ten Hag, the fact that all the senior members of staff have been cleared out of the club. It looks like a genuine and real rebuild this time round. I'm not putting Man United as favourites, as in I think Chelsea and Liverpool, if they go in for him, could be ahead of us. But this notion from some, especially some in the comments I'm reading, that Man United no chance. I just ain't buying that United haven't got any chance of signing.
What about the factor that it's going to be a World Cup year and he is going to be fighting for a spot in that French national side?
EGAL, he has no chance to get in that team. EGAL, stop it. EGAL, stop it. EGAL, stop it. EGAL, don't do this. Don't do this.
Guys, as of right now, Kylian Mbappe, then you have Benzema, and then it's him when it comes to French attackers producing this season. So that's just the reality. If he does go to Manchester United and he has a big adjustment period and he struggles, he could lose out on a spot in that French national side. And this is another thing these players think and consider when it comes to a World Cup year.
No. EGAL, I'm sorry. Like, you have to, first of all, 2 things. First thing, it's going to be very difficult to break into probably one of the most talented sides in the world.
He's already
second thing is Didier Deschamps is a loyalty merchant. So he will always be loyal to the guys that he is entrusted with. So for Nkunku to even think of like, oh, can I get into the French team for the World Cup? Come on, bro. Like, nah.
So you're making my point. So if he's going to leave, he's going to try to go to the best sporting project. And is Manchester United going to be the best sporting project for him when it comes to game time, when it comes to adjustment, when it comes to everything? You have to consider that also.
No. I'm saying the sporting project is based on just his career.
Who do you say is? Because based on sporting project, how many strikers have been successful at Chelsea?
Oh, Terrace, stop it.
That's why the first thing I mentioned was Liverpool. If Liverpool are seriously looking at him, look at how players adjust so quickly at Liverpool in comparison to other clubs. He is going to fit. He could possibly fit in like a glove, replacing.
We don't need Nkunku at the minute. We've got other priorities that we need to hit before.
What if Salah and Mane don't sign a contract, Tom?
Salama and Nkunku isn't the replacement for either of them, though.
Roberto
That's the
Firmino.
annoying thing.
Firmino's going.
He would be the ideal Firmino replacement, but our issue with Firmino is who's going to buy Firmino, because no one needs a Firmino apart from
Chelsea.
Leipzig, and they're not going to buy him.
Spanish team.
Chelsea need a striker.
Chelsea
Oh,
is like
leaks,
Give it a
relax,
rest.
leaks.
Give it a
leaks,
rest.
no.
Give it a
No,
rest.
you know what I'll say? Are we ruling out the Ralph factor in this? The Ragnarok factor? The fact that he was the Leipzig manager, etc.
Yes, I'm ruling
Like,
that out. Come on,
but he just call him up in it. Like how you
he'll come about and then he'll put down the phone. He will put down the phone.
I have hope. What
With that logic, I will call up. Tuchel will call up Neymar. With that logic, yeah.
You're linked to him. You're linked to him.
God, we ain't got the facilities
I'm
for
not
that big
linked
man.
to it. We made up the rumors. Chelsea fans made rumors up. It's not happening.
Oh no, we were speaking to Ben Jacobs the other day about that. Do you know? I like what you do. Have hope.
Mm.
When you say no, not happening. That's what you're actually saying is I hope it don't happen.
Wait.
There's an Arsenal fan that responded to my video earlier today when we mentioned Nkunku, and he's like, "Nah, not happening. 100%. I know for sure." I'm like, "Why?" Just because I think. That's the logic. Because I think. But viewers, where do you think Christopher Nkunku is going to go? Will he stay? Will he go to Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United? Leave your comments now and let us know. Please smash that like button for us too. We've got some details on our new sponsor coming up a little bit later, but get their app downloaded or go to their website now by scanning the QR code or clicking on the link in the live comments section. It's an amazing fantasy football app where you can win NFTs with real monetary value. So go and check it out. We'll come back to Man United a little bit later and Chelsea. Serge Gnabry linked with a return back. Look at that little smile on a gal's face there. Ooh, he did a little smile. Look.
Why did they give him away? Why did they give him away, man?
Well, they've done a bit of a Pogba on that. But Serge Gnabry back to
wanted to
Arsenal.
leave.
What you saying, Egal? Can you see that being pulled off? Can you see him coming back even without the old Champions League football? Do you have the pull? Does Arteta have the power to bring this very good player to this great young squad you've got?
We need the perfect scenarios. If it's true that Real Madrid is coming in for him, it's going to be very unlikely. Also, the fact that we didn't get Champions League football is going to be very unlikely. But if we can get him, I feel like we would have to wait until his contract runs out at Bayern to get him on a free. I don't really think we're going to go to Bayern, pay for him right now and bring him to Arsenal right now. It's going to be very difficult. I think 2023 summer possibly, but right now, if Barcelona are in for him, or he could just be using us for a contract renewal. I personally don't think there's too much legs with this deal, but it does excite me as a fan for the possibility to bring him in. But I'm really tempered with this one right now. I think it's not that likely. In January window, we were hearing about it. We're hearing about it in the summer. It just feels like recycled news at this point.
Where would he fit in? I don't know where he fit, because I haven't watched much Bayern. I don't know if he's now moved on to the left, but if he's on the right, I don't think Arteta plays him over Saka.
For me, it's not about. First of all, let's see if he even comes. But if he does hypothetically come, what I would say is he would add another versatile winger, because if Pepe's going to go or Martinelli's going to be played in the striker position, Emil Smith-Rowe could be played in the midfield. All of our players are so interchangeable. It would add more versatility to our side and somebody who can play.
But he can play. I think he's played striker for Bayern a few times. Sometimes he's played as a roaming.
Think about it this way: if we get him in, we don't now need more goals from another striker. If we hypothetically did get him in, we would now have another winger who could contribute to the same level of goals that we are missing in this team.
Can I ask you a question, Egal? You've got this Gnabry situation. There's talk that Yuri Tillemans is now going to reconsider because of no Champions League. Are you concerned?
Rubbish, by the way.
That's not rubbish.
No, Yuri Tillemans would still join us even without Champions League. If there's no one without Champions League football coming in for him, he would still join us.
Like I said, reconvinced. I mean, Ben Jacobs got kind of not cooked, but a lot of Arsenal fans saying that's wrong. It's been debunked. They said his camp have already confirmed that he's happy to play Europa League football. They all sent me the link, and the headline said that he's open to playing Europa League football, which is very different. And you're right, if no one else comes in for him. But that's my point. There's no way if Yuri Tillemans is good enough to get Arsenal back to the top, there's no way nobody else is going to look at him and talk to him. But the question I was alluding to is, are you worried about the kind of targets that Arsenal can bring in this summer because you missed out on the Champions League in the end? Do you think you're going to have to shop at, not the bargain basement, but instead of going to Waitrose, you're going to have to go to Morrison's now?
There's an Audi on my corner.
Hey, everybody,
There's a Holloway Road. There's a Audi on the corner. You can shop there.
You're gonna have to shop there too, aren't you?
No. We're big boys.
You see, Echo, all that's talking, and now you have to basically shop at the buy one gets 8 free store, man. So.
Listen. You guys are laughing. But it's okay. Scouts do your job. At the end of the day, you get paid a lot of money. You get paid a lot of money to find these players that would fit the project and that would come in depending on whatever competition you're in. You don't get to the level that you get to by only being in the top competitions and be able to attract the players because of championship football. You get there because of your scouting team and the people behind the scenes being able to find the right players. So I don't care what competition we're in anymore, because you know what happened? Europa League, here we come. But when it comes to actually recruiting players, yes, it is a blow, but it's not as big as a blow because we still will need to do the right recruitment regardless if we had Champions League or not.
You're going to hit a ceiling soon, though, of the standard of player that will actually not require convincing to come. The way I see it, if a player requires convincing to join Arsenal, they don't want to join Arsenal. And what you need now is players that are fully behind the cause.
You know firsthand, as a Liverpool fan, you've seen it. You've seen how it was under Brendan Rodgers, and before that, when you guys were struggling to get certain players, and once you get back into the mix, obviously it's a lot easier. But at the same time, you didn't get to the level you got to today without making the right recruitment when you were struggling.
In a sense, yes, but when you look at this Liverpool team, the major players came in our first season of Champions League football. You hit a crossover point, which Arsenal aren't going to hit this season. So you'll bring in players, but you won't get that level of growth that you're expecting. You're going to hit a ceiling soon. So if you're not quick with your investments, you've got a 2-year window, because Tottenham are looking very good. United have just got money to spend, and it will work for them eventually. You have to get your foot in that Champions League door within the next season or two, otherwise you'll miss this opportunity with this group of players.
Yeah, I mean, no, Tom is speaking facts.
1 second. This is the thing. Where Liverpool were and where Arsenal are completely different places. Because remember, Liverpool had a title challenge, so they were Champions League football. Then they dropped out before Klopp came in. Arsenal haven't been in Champions League for what, 6 years? You're in completely different. So a player coming in is like, you know what? This team isn't that bad. They had a bad season, so they are Champions League quality. Whether you think Benteke is good enough, whatever, but they're like, these are Champions League quality. They just had a bad season. Arsenal are not Champions League quality, so the player coming in has to really think: am I going to has Lacazette played Champions League for Arsenal? I don't think he has.
No,
I don't think so. That's the what we're dealing with. Man United right now are in a more similar position to where Liverpool were, in the sense that we had back-to-back Champions League. The year before was Europa League. The year before was Champions League. In and out, where the player can come in and say, bad season, we're going to go back.
One pushback.
All right.
When it came to Liverpool, if you actually look at it and you actually go back and look at the actual years from 2008-9 season all the way to 2016-17 season, they were only in the Champions League once.
Yeah, they had a title challenge, and then they were in the Champions League.
Look at it this way, bro. They finished 7th, 6th, 8th, 7th, one title challenge, and then they were back to 6th, 8th.
That's one more than Arsenal.
So realistically, it's the same thing. In the last 7 years for that time period, they were in a similar situation as us, finishing 6th, 7th, and 8th.
I think
almost every year.
EGAL, where I think Arsenal fans need to do a bit more of, watching you guys in January celebrate lowering the wage bill only makes sense if you then demand for all that money to be spent on players in the summer. I agree with Tom to this point where Arsenal have got to break back into the elite soon and start attracting players of a higher quality and land them and sign them. Otherwise, you will find yourself sitting in mediocrity, because there's only so far your manager can take you. And on your manager, I think that's also a key part. The difference was when Jurgen Klopp came in. Jurgen Klopp was already a back-to-back Bundesliga winning Champions League finalist manager who the world and his dog wanted to have managed them. Everybody was talking about Jurgen Klopp. Every fan base pretty much at some point discussed Jurgen Klopp and him coming in. There's pull within that. and then you have the project, and you also have the heritage that is Liverpool Football Club. That in itself is, with all due respect to Arsenal, Liverpool's fame and romance about joining them is different. You know, they're a level up, the same as Man United, Barca,
Alexis Sanchez.
and it's okay. Well, okay, but so you hang on a minute, Gal. Like, I don't want to get to this.
No, I'm just admitting it.
Yeah, okay.
They are a bigger club, 100%.
Yeah, so let me
when it comes to pulling power, you guys all admit that the situation that your club is in at the time is a bigger factor than your club's history almost.
I also think the manager comes into it.
Guys, let's just bring it back to the point, because we end up not making points and going back around in circles. What I'm trying to say is you have got to demand from your club that you spend big. If I see Arsenal fans lie, I can't do anything about them lying, but I'm going to know they're lying. If all this got, you signed some obscure 21-year-old for like 8-9 million pounds. Oh, that's going to be our Andy Robertson. It's just like Liverpool. Oh, that's going to be this. That's going to be that. You need to go out this summer, and your signings have got to generally be 25, 26 years of age, experienced, top-class players that might want to be paid 200 grand a week, 250 grand a week. You need to break the bank to bring in some quality that can elevate your young players. One more year of this youth project without top class senior pros supporting them, these kids will fade and crack. They seriously will. There is no history in football of elite level teams being led by young players and succeeding. There's always a core of experience with them. And Arsenal fans have got to take their heads out of their arseholes and start demanding their club behave better, because at the moment, all I'm really seeing is like, oh, we're just going to like focus on all the positive stories about this player and that. But, if you sign Yuri Tillemans, that's the kind of player you need and above. And if you pull that off, I'll do nothing but congratulate you. But I'm just sort of listening to gooners that are like, it's all about the profile and the right person for the club. Oh, we don't want to pay out too much salary, because too much salary creates disharmony in the dressing room. Not if the player coming in is better than every other player in your squad. You think Man City's attackers are going to be worried about what Haaland's being paid when they know how good he is? No. It's crazy. Come on.
No. I mean, basically, I think Terry hit the point though. Back in the 90s or the 2000s, it was about superstars and players. We're now living in the age where the manager is a superstar. Liverpool's star player is Klopp. City's star player is Pep. So, and that's just reality, because it's like, yeah, you have to realize, but the manager has way more influence now than days gone by. So my thing is that, and I said it to Arsenal fans, that you're getting a dude who fetched Pep's water bottle and put out the cones for Pep. That's your manager. So if I'm a player, Arteta, I'm like, who the hell is this? Who is this dude? This dude is just from the road. So I can't play from the guy from the road, because when you look at Klopp, as Terry just said, this is a guy who dethroned Bayern. This is a guy who went to the Champions League final. This is a guy who found Götze, who found Kagawa, who found Lewandowski. So coming in, that I have faith that this manager can take me somewhere. Look at what he's done with Trent. Look at what he did with Mane. Look at how he's elevated Salah's level. Who has Arteta truly improved? Who has Arteta truly taken to the next level?
I'm a bucket gal here. I kind of disagree, right? I think it takes a lot of, can I say balls? I think it takes a lot of balls coming into an Arsenal side that's struggling. And obviously back-to-back 8th place isn't great, but in the process, won an FA Cup. He's now gone from 8th to 5th the next season. And as much as I love to give Arsenal a lot of slack, and Arteta a lot of slack as well, but you've got to look at the improvement of Bukayo Saka. You've got to look at the improvement of Emil Smith-Rowe, even Martinelli. Like, before Arteta came, you saw how erratic Martinelli was on the pitch. Like, sometimes he'll just shoot out of nowhere. He'll just make stupid runs. But now you can kind of just see a difference in the way Martinelli plays a little bit. And also, we cannot discredit that, even though we want to call him Pep's water boy, we cannot discredit the praise that Raheem Sterling has given Mikel Arteta for his own personal development as well. So I'm gonna have to just disagree.
But I need to. But my response to that is, okay, no, true. Arteta has done some things with regards to improving Martinelli and Saka. But then you look at January. That FA Cup I gave to Aubameyang. Aubameyang won that FA Cup. Trust me, without Aubameyang, we beat the crap out of Arsenal in that final. Aubameyang won them that final. So you sell Aubameyang for whatever the reason was. Who do you get in January? January is down to Arteta, because Conte got Bentancur and Key Kulusevski, who might be the most effective signing of the season, and that effectively got them top 4 over Arsenal. And who did Arsenal get in top 4? Nobody. After you let Aubameyang go, that's on Arteta.
But yeah, that's definitely on Arteta. But I don't know. I just feel like the whole premise that he can't get players because of because who is he type of thing. I don't buy it, because at the end of the day, he got Thomas Partey. Like Thomas Partey, I loved that guy at Atletico Madrid. He
And
was
that was money. That was money.
But you can say that it was money, but he can do that again.
But that's the point. Arteta doesn't have the same pause as other managers. So therefore, you can go, right, you know what, we're paying you 80 grand a week. You get to be managed by Jurgen Klopp. You're at Liverpool. We're title contenders. We'll put some bonuses in there, but that's it. What Arsenal are going to have to do, and this is the overarching point, to compensate that, you might have to pay more. And you might have to put your money where your mouth is and spend it and show people that this is the right place to be. The situation with Gabriel Jesus is interesting. It's going to cost 55, they reckon between 45 and 50 million, and Arsenal equivalent over sort of 5 to 10 million. And it's almost a case of you can't afford to do that. Pay the money, get it done. You bring in Yuri Tillemans, Gabriel Jesus, that age of player, their quality is one thing, but the age, the experience they have, is going to be so key. And if Arsenal pull off those signings, listen, Arteta's then got a better squad, and he can really show what he's made of, and they'll make waves because there was improvements this year.
I think
those young players just couldn't take the pressure in that final month of the season. So you need this experience, and Arsenal fans have just got to demand their club spends money. Simple as that.
That's just the question I actually wanted to ask, even to EGAL and so forth, because I wanted to go to Jesus. So Jesus, World Cup is in November. You need to have playing time. Haaland has come again. Him and Man City, that is a no-go thing. See, if you're Jesus, I think that Arsenal move makes sense with or without Champions League for football, because my thing is that for Jesus, he's always going to start for Brazil because the coach likes him. But you want to, because remember, the World Cup is midway through, so you want to really be match fit and be sharp coming into the other World Cup. So do you think that that's Jesus? So even for EGAL, do you think that, look, Arsenal, whatever the price is, forever thinking you have to get a Jesus because you can't live off Nketiah for a whole season?
I'm not going to lie to you. I've been saying this for a while. We need to, if we're going to bring in attacking improvements, we need to bring in some Premier League proven players. And Gabriel Jesus, as much as people don't rate him to the level of like a top striker,
oh no, I rate him.
He comes into our team and he improves us immediately. And his pressing, the key thing for me is he already has a relationship with Edu, being Brazilian, and he already has a relationship with Mikel Arteta, which hopefully can make the deal a lot easier. And I think his quality, he'll raise the level of the squad. He's already Premier League proven. He's won 4 Premier Leagues over the last couple of years, and the age and profile, as Terry hates to hear, is perfect.
No, it's not about age. I don't hate hearing the word profile, bro. Nice thing. I hear you. It's more when people just throw it out there rather than the elephant in the room, which is exactly what Gabriel Jesus. He'll be on big wages and it'll cost you 50 odd million pounds. That's what I'm actually praising your club here with Anita said it much nicer than I do. You are big Arsenal. Act like it. You're not in a position now to scrimp and scrape. It's almost getting to, it could be a point of do or die, where I think Tom made that point in the sense of, if Man United do well under Ten Hag, if Conte we're going to speak to Spurs next, if Conte does bits with Spurs and Chelsea go to the next level with Tuchel, if Arsenal don't act now, it doesn't matter how good Arteta makes this team he's got. You're not getting in the top 4. It's not a dig. It's a reality. But I want to move on from that, Havo.
Right. Okay.
Viewers, we are previewing the Champions League final later. We're talking more of the transfers. We're going to be talking Jong to Man United. Reports from a number of United outlets today that a price has been agreed and set. PSG and United in for him. We'll get onto that a bit later. We're going to talk Tchouaméni. Could Liverpool and Chelsea be back in to get him? But I wanted to touch on Tottenham a little bit, because there are linked to players like Bastoni, as an example. A number of outlets saying they're pulling out, some saying they're in. There's talk of up to 8 players coming in. There was also a big call by Darren Ambrose the other day that he feels if Conte's backed and given 5-6 more players of Bentancur, Kulusevski level and above across all positions, that they'll win a trophy and maybe even challenge for a Premier League at some point. What were you making of Conte being back? They're talking about 200 odd million pound could be spent. Harry Kane staying. Gal, I know you've got something to say about it. I can tell just by the way your shoulders are moving. Like, how powerful and dangerous could Tottenham be next year?
Listen, Tottenham are going to improve. They're going to sign players. They are going to improve. But to say they're going to even get close or bridge the gap to Liverpool and City, I feel like it's a little bit too far stretched. And I'm not even trying to be salty as a rival. I'm just being realistic. They're not going to get from where they were from last season to this season getting fourth to now saying, you know what, we've seen enough from Antonio Conte. This kind of reminds me of the over exaggerations that we do when a manager comes in and has a good half season. Like I've done it. Chelsea have done it when they won the Champions League. You almost get into a thing where you're like, you know what, this is going to be it. This is how it's going to be from now on. And that's just the reality. I don't think they can continue to play to a level where they're going to now bridge the gap to Liverpool and City. Yes, they can play well against them, but against the rest of the league, they still struggle against low blocks. So we're going to have to see how it happens. It's going to be interesting to see, but I just don't believe they're nowhere near Liverpool and City at this moment in time.
See, for me, that's where I slightly agree with EGAL, because over a 38-game season, it's really about how well you do over 38 games. But if you're in a position where against the two best teams, you beat the winners twice, and the second place team, you drew with them twice, probably should have beaten them in the first game. That's actually an easier way to rule, because now you're like, we can do well against the top sides. We just need to be at a much better high level and beat the teams we should. It's a much more difficult situation when you get trashed and pimp smacked by the top teams, and then you beat the other teams. It's so for Conte, just say, okay, what is it that we're missing? It's an easier problem to solve of figuring out how to beat the teams that you should, rather than how to beat the teams that you shouldn't beat. You know, so Conte has an easier problem to figure out. It's a problem, but it's a much better place to be than you not even coming close to beating Liverpool or Man City.
Well, I don't think people understand all these like that. I don't think they understand just how mad what Liverpool and City have done recently is. It's gotten to the point now. They've made 90 points. If you want to challenge, not win, challenge for a title, you need to be getting mid to high 90 point. And that's just a challenge. Tottenham Hotspur are not going to get mid to high 90 points next season because that team doesn't have that mentality yet. They're not going to win a cup and challenge for a league right to the end in the same season because that mentality isn't there. They need to sort out the defence first off. Bastoni's the perfect player. Bastoni and Romero will be a fantastic two centre-back partnership. I don't know if he wants to stick with a full-back at centre-back or whatever, but you need to sort out your centre-back. Bastoni would be perfect. Your right-back, because no one deserves to watch Emerson on a football pitch anymore. No one deserves to be put through that pain. You need to find another midfielder to partner with Bentancur if you can't rely on Skip. And personally, I know Tottenham fans will disagree. I think you need a more reliable goalkeeper. Hugo Lloris is a great shot stopper, but he's prone to a mistake. Look at the top
You'll need Tottenham
keepers.
to make history. Their greatest ever season is 86 points, I think, under Pochettino. So do you really think they're going to get anywhere near that?
Well, in fairness to Darren Ambrose, he kind of said within the shot with like 3 or 4 games to go. So if you win the league on 85 points and they got 86, that's about 3 or 4 games. So he didn't say like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't put it beyond Antonio Conte. If he gets the players he wants to create a team that could generate mid 80 points, I think he could do that.
This is the thing. We have to look at
didn't he get 90 plus points with Chelsea?
I think he just got under, didn't he?
No, definitely got 90.
I can't remember.
I don't know why 95 did, man. I don't think it was as high as 95, but
he got 93 points.
93 with Chelsea.
But let's say you look at the history of Conte. Now, obviously, there's context with different teams, but you look at Chelsea. Yeah. He came in when they were 10th, won the league in the first season. Now, we know that wasn't a 10th place side, but it was a demoralized side. He went and won the league the year after. He went into Milan. Inter Milan for 2 years in a row finished 20 plus points behind Juve, who were on like an 8 Serie A in a row. So that is domination. Forget whether that team was as good as Liverpool and Man City. The gap between Juve and the rest of the league, it was bigger or as big as what the gap is between Man City and Liverpool and the rest of the Premier League at the moment. And he closed the gap in the first season to 1 point.
No, he should have won it in its first season. He should have won it in its first season.
He closed it to 1 point, and then the next season got over 90 points and won Serie A. And of course, they left, and AC Milan have gone and won it. So, and then we've seen him come in now. 6+ points with maybe game and Arsenal the game in hand behind Arsenal in the title race, is in the top 4 race, and he's overtaken them. So Conte's instant impact history is already there. If he's going to close this gap, it's not going to be in 5 years. It's going to be either next season or the season after. Because that's Conte. It's not any long.
Conte had 93 points, by the way.
That's what I said. It's not going to be like, he's gonna have to build the team to close on Man City, Liverpool. No, it's gonna be wham bam, and if he doesn't do it in 2 years, he's gone. Now, what I would say is quickly, Anita. Sorry, I think he's gonna go out of Europe very quickly. Conte's a European flop. They're gonna have 1 game a week from January onwards. Kane, Son, Kulusevski, and let's say 2 top-class wing-backs, which we know are so important for his system. He can get close to 90 points. He can get close to 90. Conte is a madman when it comes to league football. Other than Guardiola, is there a better league manager in world football right now than Antonio?
No, Nick, I'll say pound for pound, he's better. Pound for pound, he's better.
What they should do is they should hire Rafa Benitez as his assistant and let Rafa Benitez manage the cup games, and then Conte manage them two together are the greatest managers. Yeah, it's crazy, but look, I think there's a great opportunity for Spurs here. Can I just say? Yeah, go on, of course.
Can I just say, like, I agree with everything to do with Conte. I 100% agree with you guys. I think Conte is an amazing manager. What he's done has been unparalleled, blah, 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 right? But we talk of Man City and Liverpool, and surprisingly, I'm going to have to just agree with Tom here. Man City and Liverpool are on a crazy trajectory, and I still feel like they are both about to get better this season. Now, everyone always wants to push Chelsea out of the situation, whatever. I'm not going to try bring them in or nothing, but if anyone's going to close the gap towards them this next season, it's going to be Chelsea before it is Antonio Conte. I think Antonio Conte, yes, he's a great manager, and yes, he can work miracles. But what we need to remember about the Chelsea side that he won the league with is that, like you said, they weren't a 10th place team. That was a very, very good team. Secondly, they didn't have Europe. They got out of all domestics very quickly as well. And the next season, when we got back into Europe, when Antonio Conte, he started losing games and throwing a strop, that's when things really crumbled. That's when the cookie crumbled. And it happened. It didn't necessarily happen at Inter, but you saw how he fell out with the board as well. He fell out with the board at Juventus as well. Like, at one point, based off of history, if we're basing it off of history, someone will crumble, and it will be Antonio Conte to crumble before Manchester City or Liverpool do. That's
the difference between Chelsea and Tottenham is the expectations at Tottenham in comparison to Chelsea are 2 different things. Chelsea at the end of the day could go out, finish 4th, win an FA Cup, and if that was Tottenham, they would kill for that. For Chelsea, that would be somewhat considered, underwhelming season.
Yeah.
Well, in the Abramovich era, though, but real quick though, see, this is what I said. Like I said, Tottenham has an easier problem to sort out because they've done so well against City and Liverpool. But I've always said this: as long as Pep and Klopp are in the Premier League, no one is eating. No one is eating. Like I just said, like no one is winning the league.
I try to say that we're eating this season. Yeah, I was.
No one is eating. No one is eating.
Sorry. I hear what you're saying, HH. But in the early 2000s, people would have said the same thing. Well, Fergie and Wenger are here. Nobody's eating.
Nix, do you want to have this convo? Are you sure you want to have this convo again? Because Terry is going to probably kick me if you want to have this convo.
Because nobody was eating. It was from 96 to 2004. It was Man United Arsenal, and then Chelsea came, and it was no longer Arsenal. So the notion that as long as these two are here, nobody's eating. Football doesn't work like that. I tell you why it doesn't work like that. Because when Pep first came, everyone said his football's not going to work. Then he got 100 points. It's like, well, nobody's ever going to win a Premier League title. Well, Klopp won one, and I think they had 81 points or something that year, Man City. And the next year they won it with 86 points. So it's like this complete domination that people expect from maybe one team. Oh, and then it extends to 2 teams because someone else can compete. Oh, and then when someone else competes, you can say, okay, well, as long as Conte and Tuchel are here, nobody else. Football just doesn't work. Newcastle got money now. So So this notion that it's going to be cop and plep for the rest of the
Newcastle
time.
in the race?
No, not next season. But he said for as long as they're here, nobody's eating.
No, but Nick, here's the thing though.
It's football.
Here's the thing though. The only time, another team, the only time that Pep has lost the league title is twice. Once was when Real Madrid broke the record for most goals ever in a season, 100 goals with Mourinho, and the second time was 99 points Liverpool. So you have to pretty much be historic.
But you're saying you're going on like, no, Liverpool didn't need to get 99 points.
Okay, no, true. Okay, no. But they were still an extremely good team. So what I'm saying though is that things have changed. As opposed to 96 and 2000, things have changed because there's a way more money now. More money can be spent, and the amounts of funds that Pep has access to, Fergie didn't have access to those funds.
Not to divest too much into the Pep thing, but I was looking at his league record recently, and of course his record is brilliant, 90 plus points most seasons. His first year at Man City, of course, is his first year. Granted, they finished third. His second year at Bayern Munich, he only got 79 points, and I sat there and looked. I'm like, how do you get 79 points in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich? But this team became second, got 69. Like, I'm just saying, he's not infallible. Other teams can challenge. They just have to be consistent. They're not perfect.
But he's still a UCL flopper though. So
it's not just the points though. It's the fact that, remember that year where we came second, they won it with the company goal. Both teams, they can still hit this level. Maybe not to the extreme it was, but both teams went something like 13 or 12 wins on the bounce while still being in Europe and still winning cup competitions game in, game out. That the standard to be unbeaten for 4 months at a time.
But Tom, this is no rivalry though.
No, but they have Tom. But this is, when you actually look at it, and it's simple maths, the level's only gone up by an extra couple of wins. The 2 or 3 wins generally up from other very good title winning teams in the past that have had 88, 89, 90, 91 points. It's a couple of wins. And I also think there's an obsession with it now. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but almost teams used to, I'll give you an example. When Jose Mourinho won his title with Chelsea the second time round, they were so clear in February. The last 2 or 3 months of the season, they had their foot off the gas. They lost loads of points in games. They weren't hunting a points total down. The point is, if Jose would have kept them like on it the whole time, every game, they'd have smashed 95 to 100 points, but they didn't because it's a new thing that Pep's brought in around. We keep going and we break these records. Klopp's then responded and got his team to that level. If Tuchel, if Ten Hag, if Conte are going to win titles, they just need to get their team into that mindset. And if Pep and Klopp were able to get their teams into that mindset, so can they. It's not about how good your football is. It's about being hungry to win every point in every game. That's the only difference. If I go back to when I grew up watching football, you didn't even need to start the season well. You could start slowly. Jose came in and changed that. You had to start well to win the league, and then managers adapted to it. And that's the point. Every time something's changed in football, people have adapted to it. Otherwise, total football will still be dominating Europe. Like it goes in cycles. And I'm not playing down what Pep and Klopp have done. They're amazing. But again, I agree with Neeks. This notion that no one's going to be able to catch them, I don't agree with it. You've got Tuchel in over here. If they back him right, he can compete with them. We don't know about Erik ten Hag yet because he's not managed the games. I'm not going to throw him into that mix. You've got Conte. If they build him a proper top-class team, his pedigree in the league is so much better than Poch's. Why couldn't he challenge? Now, the one thing I agree with is you're going to need one of them to probably drop off. Going toe-to-toe both of them at their very best is going to be very, very hard. But we've seen both City and Liverpool in the last 3 years have seasons where they've dropped off. There's opportunities here. But it's going to be intriguing to see what happens.
Why is it for every other club, we're looking at their past and we're saying, you know what, based on precedents from the past, this is possibly going to happen. But for Tottenham, we're just saying, you know what, everything in the past doesn't exist. They're going to be able to do it just because they have Antonio Conte and they're going to back him.
So I would answer that by saying that we're not saying 100% he's going to do it. We're saying there is a possibility and a chance. The difference is that this is the best manager Spurs have had since Bill Nicholson. And he's been dead for about 4 decades. Like, they haven't had a manager of this quality at their club for a long, long time. And I think that they have got one of the top 5-6 managers on the planet, especially when it comes to league football. It's a different scenario. It's a bit like, imagine your team hasn't won a trophy. If Newcastle 10 years ago signed Lionel Messi, would have all gone, bloody hell, they might win something now because the player changed. I think that's what it is for me. I want to go to some of these super chats before we move on to Tchouaméni and De Jong. And then, of course, we've got the big preview coming. One here says, LL Cool Shades. That's
Thank
you.
you.
There we go. Member here says, Terry, who's worse, Ty or EGAL? Neither are worse. They're both brilliant guys.
They're
Love
both
them.
lovely people, man. Lovely.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Indeed.
Because was forced to blame someone else, I'm reactionary. I don't know what you mean by that, Strip there, but thank you for the donation. Thank you. Terry, I told you about that Mbappe. Sorry, about that Mbappe. Man's bang average, 1.5 million%. If he came to the Premier League, he would hit MJ standards, Chamon, hitting air.
The hell?
I'm confused. I'm so confused.
I think
like
he was trying to
MJ
crack a joke, but I think like
MJ's
his
the
grammar
goat.
got in the way of his joke.
Like
So
catching air, hitting air, and like the Chamon, it's like a combination of two famous MJs, of Jordan and Jackson.
look,
No,
look,
he's
man,
talking
Naval
about
Nation,
kicking
man,
air.
shut up, man.
Kicking air.
Okay. There we go. Ask EGAL why he was laughing at Tavares rating Mount when Mount's done more in football than the entire Arsenal team combined.
Hey, Gal, you know I responded to that tweet that you had.
This team of yours.
Just
I
quickly,
thought that was
just answer,
funny.
please.
I thought it was funny. First of all, he doesn't play a lot of games, so he did play. He did play against. I'm talking about Tavares.
Yeah.
Tavares doesn't play a lot of games, so he can't really rate the rest of the Premier League's top talents. But he did play against Mo Salah, and I'm like, he played against Mo Salah, but he's saying he's picking out Mason Mount as the main guy, and this is after. Talking about Mo Salah in a certain way, also saying if he would have played against Man City, he would have picked Bernardo Silva. Never mentioned Kevin De Bruyne. I'm just like, it's just like
Maybe it's telling you
I don't know.
something. Maybe it's telling you that Mason Mount are better than all these people. Maybe that's what it's telling
oh,
you.
maybe Mason Mount's the
Mason
best player
Mid.
in the league.
Are
I
you
don't know.
serious?
No,
Do you
maybe you have to accept.
Mason Mid.
Do you know what it is though?
Stop calling him Mason Mid. We're gonna have a problem.
Mason Mid, you know.
You do it.
Egal, what I'd say to you is just
Yeah.
on a serious note with it. Sometimes it's just there's a phrase in boxing where they say styles make fights, and sometimes a certain style of fighter can be all wrong for a certain individual. And maybe Tavares, the way Mount plays, makes it harder. Maybe he prefers people like Mo Salah, just the way it is, I think. But there we go.
A lot of people like the clip, so they must have agreed with me or disagreed with me.
They're just it's just banter, isn't it? Why would any player with ambition want to join Man United when City, Paul, and Chelsea present more realistic chances of winning? Players will only join Man United for money, and you know what happened to Lukaku.
Agreed. That's a great dub. Jason, congrats, man. That's quality. Jason.
I do know what happened.
Players would join
Chelsea.
United for the story, wouldn't he? Players would join United because United have been a bit crap for the past couple of years now. They want, and they've had Ronaldo come in. He hasn't been able to change it. Fernandez come in, and he hasn't really had the impact that they really wants them to have. So players want to come in and be the man that takes Manchester United back.
Tom,
to the
it's
top.
for the money. Thomas, the tank
The money
engine. It's for
helps,
the
yeah.
money.
We've got to get through we've got to get through all of these guys. If we debate them all, we're going to be here for 4 hours. One person at a time can respond ish. I love that I loved that what Egal wrote off Giroud in the French team when he won the league title. Could you imagine if Giroud scored more goals than Henry for France?
He's about to.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, that's painful, man.
So
You get that every now and then. Danny Drinkwater is free, perfect fit for Arsenal, is what Lamin says.
That's nah.
hey, guy, you want him?
Nah.
Thank him.
Comment does not deserve a response.
So if Arsenal don't get Europa League football or Champions League football next year, Egal, choice of your charity, left eyebrow or right eyebrow to shave off after all the gas
I don't
next
make
year, you were saying past to future super chat.
Look, my Naval Nation is on that next wave, man. That guy's on that next wave.
Dave, I respect him because he's super chat. He hurts.
No, shut up. No, look, he's
bro. I was about to say he just hurts my dyslexia so bad because I can't work out if it's him or me. Egal, don't hate other clubs. If your club doesn't have pulling power, no top player wants to play for Arteta, you will be getting Ben White kind of signings, is what Nabil thinks.
I've been nice today. Don't even try to say I'm hating. Don't even try to say I'm hating.
Chike here says Arsenal need a world-class manager like a Conte to take them to a title charge because he doesn't believe in the future. He believes in the now. Also, having 6 different tubes of blood work done is pretty impressive for me. Well, I don't know.
Let me know
Congratulations.
who you think that manager should be. How
Or-
about that, Mike?
There we go. Chike, hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're good. Hakeem here says Harold Jebediah Kane has been on smoke since Conte. He's playing possessed. Plus, if the competitors are better, City and Liverpool won't get plus 90. That's a fair point as well.
I was thinking that, but
if Chelsea, Man United, Spurs and Arsenal all go up a level this year, yeah, that could change it. Plus, Leicester come back and Villa are doing well. And we know at Newcastle, that's a very good point.
Nah,
And then
Leicester
that
are
would,
done.
do you know what I'd love, Neeks, as a United fan, this is pure salt. I would love for there to be a big improvement in teams. And then for 3 or 4 years, these same managers win league titles with mid-80 points to prove that Fergie's era was tough. Or you'd have to say, well, I know you're winning the league still, but you clearly regressed and gone backwards. And I'd like to be
exactly. No matter how many Champions Leagues you won in that.
yeah. People are forgetting Conte won the league when Pep and Klopp was there.
2017.
Yeah, because
that season is void.
Jurgen Klopp had to use a pass to Daniel Sturridge as his main striker when his only good attacker, Sadio Mane, went.
Pep Guardiola got hit with that reality check. Like he got hit with a reality check, then he switched everything up, then won the league.
Claudio Bravo reality check.
Man spent 250 on the defense.
Most certainly did. Guys, viewers, we're sponsored today by So Rare. They're one of the world's leading global fantasy football games where it's free to join, free to play in their multiple competitions and tournaments. If you finish in particular positions, you can win your very own NFTs. I won 3 myself this week. A Daily Blin, Garcia from Barcelona, and a few others. The value's pretty good as well, I'm going to add. Around about £200 valuation on each NFT for nothing. Get yourself signed up. The link's in the description below and in the live comment section, or scan the QR code up in the top corner up there. We're going to play a bit of a video about them a little bit later, but they're fantastic. And if you're someone that's interested in crypto, blockchains, NFTs, but you also love fantasy football, this is the place to be. So we'll talk more about that a little later on the terrace. But before that,
can I just quickly say, as a Man United fan, quickly, I might sound a bit biased in my assessment of what Conte could or can't do, but we need somebody to step up next year because we are in the mud. If Liverpool win it, they're on 20. If Man City win it, they got 3 in a row. Like Chelsea, I backed you this year. Lukaku failed.
Knicks have hope in 9 Hag. 9 Hag will pull through. 9 Hag will pull through.
We need you. That's what I'm saying. We need you.
It'd be fun to have. It would be fun to have 3 or 4 teams like vying for it, challenging for it, doing whatever it is.
I'm not saying Pickford needs to injure Diaz and Van Dijk, but if it happens,
jeez.
That's
Frankie de Jong. In the last sort of 24, 48 hours, the news has kind of come out that Barca, more and more news that Barca are willing to sell, even though Xavi wants him to stay. The price has been set around 60 million. PSG and Manchester United are in for him. PSG also looking at Tchouaméni, because there's reports that he was going to be going there. What do we see happening with Frankie de Jong now? That it's kind of got to that point where it's United or PSG, it seems. What are we saying, Neeks? Because a week or 2 ago, you were like, nah, I'm not even believing it. Is your mind changed at all? Do you feel like this could happen?
It's Tchouaméni or De Jong. I just can't see why he would leave Barcelona. Like, unless I know he got a Lukaku situation in the sense that he needed the money, Inter needed the money. He doesn't necessarily want to leave, but you kind of have to. But similar to the Nkunku, if Man City go in for him, forget it. Like, just forget it, because what's going to end up happening is that we're going to have to bid silly amounts, like we've done with Alexis Sanchez, like we did with Harry Maguire, to get that player above Man City. And Man City would be like, all right, we're not going to pay that. We've already set our mark. And they're going to go out and buy someone who, for them, turns out to be better than Frankie de Jong for us. So for me, we set our limit. This is what we're willing to purchase in terms of transfer fee. This is what we're willing to pay in terms of wages. And if he chooses someone else, so be it. That's just we have to accept as Man United, this is where we are. Forget the whole, we don't want to be embarrassed in the public, see how we lose out on players. Set our limit. This is what we're willing to pay, and we move on. I think we could get him if nobody else came, or should I say, if Man City don't come in for him. But it's like Barcelona are a big side. As bad as they've been for a little while, they're a big side, and he's not going to want to leave Barca after 2 years, not really having achieved anything. Because that's not a good.
But what about the whole Ten Hag angle though? Because my thing is that
have hope. Just quickly before you go on that.
Sure.
He doesn't want to leave, but the reports are that it's not really about him. Barca need to sell for financial problems, and that's more the kind of case.
But then I'll ask you, Terry, is that a good premise to buy a player? Like, is his heart going to be at Manchester? I'm not saying we don't do it, but I'm saying, what do we get from him when he doesn't really want to be here in the first place?
But in reverse, it's like, David Beckham didn't want to leave Man United. Jaap Stam didn't want to leave Man United. Van Nistelrooy didn't, and they did pretty well. I'm just using them as examples I kind of know. I think it's a different scenario. It's almost when he comes to peace with the fact that he's got to leave, he'll focus elsewhere. I kind of like the loyalty from him. Like, I don't want to go. I'm happy here. Like, there's an element of that I like. But yeah, listen, I think it's a great question though, because Man United fans have that PTSD of mercenaries. That I think it's Di Maria stands out. Alexis Sanchez stands out. Of players that didn't really want to be here, but they came for money and they really flopped. What's your take? Have hope.
Yeah, no. For me, my thing is, I can get why Frankie wants to remain at Barcelona because of what Xavi wants to do, and it's Barcelona. And that this is the club that you want to be at based on the history and the heritage. And I think that he wants to prove to Barca fans that, no, I can come close to what Xavi and Iniesta did in this midfield. But then there's the other angle of Ten Hag. Like, it's always good to go to a place where you know how things roll. And look, man, look at all of Daddy's kids, whether it's Ziyech, Frenkie de Jong, De Ligt. They've not really looked as good without Daddy as it looked with Daddy. So under Daddy, guys were like boom, boom, they were raving, but ever since they've left him, they've not been that good. So I think for De Jong is like, man, let me go back to Daddy, go back to what I know, go back to a guy who believes in me, who knows how to use me, and then he can pop off. So that United's pull is Ten Hag. That is their pull of like, look, you will come in and he's going to build an environment to suit you. Xavi's like, no, I'm not going to build anything else around it. You have to fit into what I'm going to do. But for Ten Hag, you know how we will roll. You know how I want to play, and you can fit in and do exactly what I want from my midfield. Frank,
I think I agree with you.
Just some breaking news. Sorry to interject. Chelsea are interested in Yves Bissouma. That has come from Nathan Giesing. And we will touch on that in a minute because there's a Tchouaméni story. But suddenly at half the price, Bissouma might be available for Chelsea. Premier League proven. That's seriousness. But we will come back onto Bissouma in a minute. EGAL, what were you about to say, my friend?
I was just going to say, yeah, Ten Hag, the fact that Ten Hag has a relationship with the guy, he's already worked with him. He was part of the whole resurgence with the Ajax team. It's definitely very plausible. And I do think Manchester United are in the driving seat to get him. The PSG thing, it just comes down to how serious Mbappe wants the player. If Mbappe says, you know what, I want the player, he's getting the player. It's Mbappe FC. At this point, he's literally the LeBron James of football, not Pulisic. He has all the power. It's his club. And if he wants Tchouaméni, if he wants Frenkie de Jong, and he's the one calling him saying, you know what, come over, he's going to go to PSG. But I would say Manchester United have the edge because they already have the groundwork and the relationship. And it seemed like the deal was closer than the PSG deal.
Yeah, potentially. And look, PSG, I think the Tchouaméni deal is going to play a big part in this because there was talk of Real Madrid was done. Now, actually, PSG could be leading the way. And PSG have gone, it's like they're on steroids because Mbappe decided to stay. That's the kind of the word of it. But Chelsea and Liverpool still have a chance of Tchouaméni. It's now been reported that when Nazir Kinsella talks about Chelsea still have an opportunity and a chance, for me, it's genuine. It's real. Ben Jacobs has said the same thing. A lot of Liverpool press has a lot of the aggregators have kind of shared it, and they tend to be very picky with what news they share. So it feels like there's still an element there. But Bissouma, Anita, if you didn't end up with Tchouaméni, but you signed Bissouma, like, how do you think that would go? How would that resonate with you and the Chelsea fan base?
I keep telling Chelsea fans, like, a transfer window where we sign Tchouaméni, we sign 2 centre-backs, we sign a right wing-back, a left wing-back, another attacking player. It's not going to happen. One, Tchouaméni, there's already a price tag placed on him, which is 80 million euros. Can Chelsea afford to pay that 80 million euros in the middle of a rebuild? Not entirely. Do I want Chelsea to pay that money? No. It's just not worth it. I think Tchouaméni is an amazing midfielder. I do think he's probably the next best thing in midfield for France. Yes, I understand. But at the same time, all we need is a midfielder that can do the basics and can do whatever Kante, Jorginho, and Mateo Kovacic cannot do. That's all we need. And Bissouma, he's that player. I don't think there's any difference in whether we get Bissouma or we get Tchouaméni. I'm not too fast. Go for the cheaper option. At one point, Kamara, he was out on the free, wasn't he? I was thinking, let's go for this guy. Let's go for him. You know, we don't need a superstar signing for our midfield. I don't care anymore. Bring someone there that can provide that stability. And Bissouma being that, I know people always say Premier League proven doesn't matter, but him being that Premier League proven player in Brighton that basically everyone can vouch for. He is a very good midfielder, and him being that type of player for Brighton shows absolute levels. And bring him to Chelsea. If we actually want him, let's bring him.
I agree with that. KC here says Fab has confirmed the player wants Real Madrid is in Tchouaméni. Issue is the fee. Well, but Fab's confirmed the RMC Sport story. It's RMC Sport that have also reported that Liverpool are now going back in for him. This is the point, and this isn't a dig at Fabrizio. Read what Fabrizio tweets. If he's saying confirmed and then copies that story in, he's saying that he's been told the same thing that story says, which means that outlet's credible. They've now said Liverpool are back in for him. I don't think that Real Madrid are the favourites for Tchouaméni, but I don't think there could still be a twist in the tail. I think PSG more likely, but I agree with you, Anita. I do think Premier League proven matters sometimes when you know a player can play here. And, you know, the fact that he dominated Chelsea midfield twice this year as well.
Bro!
Absolutely
dominated.
Can I just say this? At this moment in time, can we be honest? Conte, taking him, replacing him with Bissouma, at this moment in time in his career, that is an upgrade for Chelsea. That is a reality. Conte has been outstanding in his whole career. I'm not making fun of his career. I'm just saying right now, Bissouma is at a level where he can get better, and he's still young, and Conte is at an age where he's regressing. So let's be honest.
Can I correct you on that? Can I correct you on that? Yeah, it's not replacing Conte. No, it's a player that can fill in for Conte whenever Conte is not there. When Conte is fit, Conte plays. For me, anyway, no matter how. This season, he has not been as bad as the outsiders think he has been. He's had some games where you're thinking, okay, that's a bit, like he needs to come
Let me rephrase it.
But at the same time,
it takes pressure off Conte.
It takes pressure off him. We can say that. It takes a lot of pressure off him.
So it's not a replacement. Like, you can't replace what Conte brings. It's impossible. You can't replace
No one can replace that man. Yeah, he is too unique. He's a unicorn in this Chelsea. Sorry, I bang on hard for this.
I hear you, Anita. Do you know what's interesting about this? It's something I learned a few years back. When I was a bit younger, Man United needed the new Roy Keane, a replacement for Roy Keane. And we ended up, we went through many trials and tribulations. You know, Liam Miller. We ended up trying to play Alan Smith there. And then we ended up signing Michael Carrick, who is a completely different type of footballer. I think if Chelsea go out and try and find a like for like for N'Golo Kante, they're always going to come up short because he was so good. Bissouma is a great longer term replacement but he's different, and it's about Chelsea evolving that. If that would be my take on it. Commenting from Micah says Bissouma is world class. Him and Kovacic is a problem. Pedro here says, what happened to Arteta trimming the wage bill? 100k for Nketiah. Lord have mercy.
He hasn't stamped 100k, has he? No way.
Respond to that.
£100,000, 5-year deal. Mad.
Listen,
respond. Explain this, Agal. Explain this, Agal. Explain.
Let's be honest. Eddie Nketiah could get that same money or more from another club if he left. At this moment in time.
Who is paying Eddie Nketiah 100 grand?
Wait, Ego, are you sniffing like illegal stuff or something? Or?
You guys say what you want to say. I think, as you guys have said,
you've doubled his wages, more plus.
I don't know. I think he might be staying as a second striker at this moment in time.
You paid 100k.
100k is not ridiculous. It's not like you don't have bums at Chelsea sitting on 100k.
Mason Mount is on 80.
80k. I was just about to bring that up. Mount's on 80k.
James is on 56. And he scored
Bissouma
more
is gonna
goals
get a
than some
new
of
deal
our
and he's gonna be
attackers.
on double that.
EGAL, don't you feel like for a player that's
Aspilicueta is sitting on no, not Aspilicueta. Alisa Balaga is sitting on 150K a week.
That will soon be written off very soon. So.
EGAL, you can't seriously be happy with Eddie Nketiah staying for 5 years being paid that. Surely your club needs to be going out and signing class players.
100%, and we will. But I just feel like this is an over exaggeration. Let's be honest. Whatever he's earning is because he's a free agent. We let it go down to the final day of the window, and we have to pay a little bit over the odds.
Do you rate him?
Or just let him go.
Do you rate him?
Let him go? I don't think the club wants to let him go.
You were happy to let him go for 8 of the last 9 months of the season.
I know.
And you just want to keep it.
I will say again, I remember EGAL. I do remember.
He's already outscored Callum Hudson-Odoi in his whole entire.
What's that got to do with
EGAL, mute your mic.
What's that got to do with anything?
But I remember EGAL when he scored the brace against Chelsea. He was in the studio. EGAL was getting very excited and sort of, people are saying that maybe he's the guy. It looks like that's happened. He is the guy. Please ask EGAL why he said Arsenal were going to win the league next year. Is what
I never said that in my life.
I know
that is a blatant lie. Don't lie about me. Also, Terry, very rich, coming from a club that employs Dean Henderson on 100K a week as a backup goalkeeper.
Hang on, when you say very rich, I condemn that.
That's the thing. We're not backing it.
EGAL, we're not backing it. That's not what hypocrisy is. Hypocrisy isn't what my club does. It's what it makes me hypocritical. It's what I believe in.
Can I just break this down?
No.
Guys, how much do you think it would cost Arsenal to go get a backup striker right now in this market?
You shouldn't be buying a backup striker. You don't buy backup strikers. You buy someone who's good enough to be a first team player and let them fight it out. That's how you create top quality teams. Luis Diaz wasn't a backup. He was a first team player. At the age of 22, do you think Eddie Nketiah has finished?
I don't think he's good enough. No, I'm going to be honest. Sorry, Terry. I'm going to be honest. He's not good enough.
His brother told him.
I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm happy for him. Get your money in it. Get your money, but he's not good enough for Arsenal. First choice, second choice, third choice. He should.
You want to know something?
100K a week. So
Harry Kane at the age of 22.
Forget Harry Kane.
No, Harry Kane at the age of 22. You can't even try and compare Eddie Nketiah to Harry Kane.
Let's Uncle Nick's land.
Just very quickly then. So you think that Eddie Nketiah is going to get to Harry Kane's level?
No, I'm just saying the fact is, at a 22 years old, you don't know how you're going to develop. The club is protecting themselves. The club is protecting themselves. We're giving him a 5-year contract. Guess what? In a year's time, we can still sell him for 25 mil.
Balogun's better.
You can't though, because no one's paying his wages. He's not
100K a
going
week.
to go because no one will pay.
If you extended his deal by 5 years but kept him on the same sort of money, like Granit Xhaka's deal was perfect because you kept him on the same money, meaning you could still move him on. But 100K a week, if he does brilliantly this year, then cool. But if he spends most of the time on the pine pony, doesn't come on the pitch, doesn't score, you're just going to have this 100K a week hole in your team. I think it's a big risk, definitely.
He's a pressing merchant. That's it.
To come out from there. Viewers, we're going to go to the rest of the super chats a little bit later. Coming up next on the show, we are previewing the Champions League final between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Stay with us. Make sure you're smashing the like and the share button. But up next on the show, I want you guys to get your phones out to read the QR code or click on the link in the description below and get ready to sign up for your free account for So Rare, because this is a great fantasy football game and a way that you can make some real serious money. Take a look at this. So Rare. They are a global fantasy football game connected to the blockchain Ethereum. Now, what's so unique and what's so brilliant about this game, and we'll get into a little bit more detail in a few moments, is it's free to register for, it's free to enter their game weeks and tournaments, and you can win your very own NFTs. Now, these NFTs come with real-life monetary value. You're also able to go into their marketplace and buy various cards connected to the players that you want. Now, it works like many other fantasy football games where you buy, sell, trade your players, create a virtual team, and send them into action. You could kind of look at it a little bit like a cross between fantasy football and FIFA Ultimate Team. But as mentioned, the difference here is you have the possibility of winning your very own NFTs. They have a variety of cards ranging from rare right through to unique that come with a real life monetary value. Now, I know a lot of you consider yourselves to be the absolute kings of fantasy football, and the scoring system on So Rare is absolutely brilliant, and real ballers will flourish. There is a decisive actions category, which looks like all others. Goals and assists, penalties won, red cards and bookings will cost your team points. However, they have the all-round score functionality, which means when it comes to picking your 5-a-side teams to go into action in various tournaments, people with real ball knowledge, ballers, will benefit more than others. Things like defenders blocking crosses, possession being lost or won by a player. So many small, intricate but important moments of the game are captured by So Rare when it comes to winning the points. Now, the points element is so important for this very reason. Free to register, as we already said, free to enter various tournaments and game weeks. Depending on how well you do and the prize pools are always listed, you have the chance to win a variety of the NFTs, the virtual cards connected to particular players. Now, these cards range from limited, rare, super rare, and unique. There are 4 main categories of cards, and they all come, as I've already said, with a real life monetary value, which essentially you can keep to watch the value grow over a period of time, or you can sell instantly. We'll be talking about So Rare on a more regular basis here on the Terrace. I want you to sign up now and get your free account and check out their website. We've got the QR code that you can see up on the screen right now and the link in the description. Check it out. Enjoy the rest of the Top 6 show, and we'll speak soon. Paul, thank you very much for that. We want to give you a bit of an intro to it because it isn't as simple as just like buying a pair of Boohoo jeans or something like that. It is what it is, but it's kind of like it's a really cool thing, and I'm just learning about it. And sort of currently, one of the limited cards, the most valuable limited card they have, sold a few days ago for £1.4 million. Like it's ridiculous levels if you're intrigued in all of that. So go and check it out. I know a lot of you did during the stream as well. We're just seeing the about 300 of you clicked on the link, which was amazing. So thank you very much for going to check that out and have a look. As I say, it's completely free to set up and use and enter games, and they give you sort of 10 cards free when you sign up. So go and check that out with So Rare. But the big game, people, the big game this weekend, Champions League final, capping off the end of what has been an absolutely fantastic campaign, really, to follow. I'm going to come to Tom first. Of course, your team's in it. How are you feeling about it, mate? How are you feeling about this final? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Where's your head at?
It's a weird one. I feel similar to how I felt in 2018, but I know I shouldn't. I think it's more so the history of Real Madrid. You know, I'm still a bit gutted about what happened on Sunday, but I think we are good enough to win this game. I do think we will win this game, but I also think that they are gonna cause us problems. I am scared of Vinicius against Trent. That does really scare me. Not necessarily because he'll cook Trent, but it's more so I know Jordan Henderson is going to start this game. Jordan Henderson can have a broken leg, but he's got the captain's armband, so he starts. So poor Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to be left out at sea sometimes. So I do think we're good enough, and I think our attack against their defence should be more than enough, let alone the fact that I back our defence. To not stop Benzema, because you're going to struggle to stop Benzema, but to keep him quieter than Chelsea and Man City did. I think our centre-back partnership is better placed to do that. But there's always going to be nerves when you're going into a Champions League final. I just hope we can get it over the line, especially after Sunday. So we've got something to celebrate, because I'm not going to lie, I don't share the same sentiment as some of the Liverpool fans. If we end this season without a Champions League or a Premier League, I will be a bit disappointed for how good we've been and the standards that we need to be setting now. I'm sick and tired of being this nearly team that anytime it gets tight, we're always the ones that lose out. We need to start making it that we are the team, the winners, because I can't deal with many more occasions like Sunday again. Not again.
Anyway. Perfect. Anyway, I can go. You know what I'll say is, I think the stars are aligned for Liverpool.
Trigger warning to Liverpool fans.
Paris, you play Real Madrid, you won. Here we go again. Paris, Liverpool, Real Madrid. I think the reality is Real Madrid have looked dodgy in all. Listen, they play some top teams, but they've looked dodgy in all their rounds. I'm sure this is the season they play Sheriff in the group stages, and they lost. Got through the group, of course. Shaky, very shaky against Paris. Got through in a 3-4 minute blitz. Chelsea, first leg, obviously, yeah, you lost that, but you had the game in the palm of your hands. The tie was done, and of course they came back and done that, and then they blitzed Man City right at the end as well. 2 goals in 2 minutes and 1 in extra time. Liverpool, as far as I've been told anyway, are the best team in the world. So if you get in that position, like Man City, like Chelsea, like PSG have, with Salah, with Mane playing in the way he is, the way as dynamic as Diaz is, you get those chances that Man City got over those 2 legs, you're taking them. Man City's problems this year. They are because they have got the best front line in world football. I mean, I've been told that.
No. Nick's is on the money.
You were muted.
No, the thing is, I know this is a different ball game. Like, it's a different ball game from the Carabao Cup. It's a different ball game from the FA Cup. But in those games, they struggle to take their chances too. Do I think Liverpool can win this match?
Chelsea's defense is
it's better.
Solid.
Chelsea's defense is better. Yes, I get that. But look at the chances that Diaz was missing. Look at the. If you go back and you watch that match back, and you look at the quality of chances being missed with the Chelsea defense all sprayed apart, then you'll start to question.
No. But I need to know. Needs to know, because even if they have those chances, multiply those chances by 2, because Chelsea's defense is much more resolute than Real Madrid. The kind of chances that Liverpool will have, they're going to be better and even more, because Real Madrid's defense just isn't as good as Man City. So, and I believe that those chances falling to Salah and Mane multiple times, which they didn't against Chelsea, they're gonna execute. So Real Madrid have to score. I think there's going to be goals in this. So Real have to come out and score.
Manchester City. What happened to them with their chances?
They're not as good as Liverpool.
Man City didn't score them. The difference between us and Man City is that when City had a spell in that first half where they were absolutely snotting them, but just there was not up there with their attackers. They kept on missing simple chances. Riyad Mahrez was in a 2-on-1 and didn't pass to Phil Foden, and instead tried to put it top right corner at the near post. Salah and Mane don't do that. They're selfish, but they put it aside when they need to. So if we go through a spell where we're getting they're not big chances, but if we're getting 5 quite good chances, I back us to score 3, where I only back City to score 1 or 2.
For me, I think that the key, I believe, in this game is going to be Vinicius. If we have bad Vinny, Liverpool win, because Benzema will have to do too much and Vinny will probably waste so many of his chances. If we have good Vinny, where he's clinical and he's really on his game, that's why I think Real Madrid will have the edge. So for me, I think the key thing is, because Benzema will always say what's up. Modric will always say what's up. These guys will always say what's up. But can Vinny say what's up? That's going to be the key thing as well.
I think the key battle in this entire mix-up is going to be that midfield battle. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. Vinicius Jr. and Benzema, they have been great, don't get me wrong. But you look at the midfield battle that they've had, in the lead-up, every time they've gone behind in that midfield battle, Carlo Ancelotti, God knows what goes on in that man's mind, but he makes the right substitution at the right time. He changes that formation at the right time, taking off Toni Kroos, bringing on Camavinga, not starting Casemiro, putting Rodrigo in that midfield, or playing Rodrigo on top with Karim Benzema. All these things, they play into mind. And
let me ask you, Nia.
Hold on, I'm not done, sweetheart. What's going to happen is it's going to be a midfield battle. In my opinion, it's going to be a midfield battle, right? And whoever's able to overcome that battle first will be able to get that first goal, will be able to get it over the line, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's down to Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp to not switch off at all. If Liverpool get ahead in that midfield battle, if they don't switch off for the full 90 minutes, I'll put my house on them winning. But but if they switch off at the 80th, we saw what happened with Man City.
But the thing is, I don't think Liverpool win the midfield. I don't think Liverpool win the midfield.
They don't have to. They don't have to.
Yeah, they don't. But
they do.
The real question is, what will the score be when Camavinga comes on? Because the game might be done by then. That's the problem. The game might be done by then.
That he won't start. Who's telling you that he won't start? Who's telling you that?
No, he won't start. He won't start.
Don, are you starting him?
And on top of that, who's telling you that Rodrigo won't start? Who's telling you that Modric won't be on his game that game and ping balls left, right, and centre? Who's
I'm
telling
willing
you?
to put good money. I'm willing to put good money on Fede Valverde starting right wing, because Ancelotti, when he goes up against these attacking fullbacks, Fede Valverde gets the graveyard shift at right wing and is told, you stick with him. He goes to have a piss in the changing rooms. You go next to him. You don't even leave a urinal space. You're right next to him.
That is a fair point.
That's what he does. I'm interested to see with the Trent Vinicius thing. Not only I know Vinicius is going to cause him problems, but I wonder if Ancelotti run the risk of almost telling Vinicius to not track back with Trent as often because if he doesn't track back with Trent then can't push on as much, because you can't give Vinicius as much space. He's too quick. Yeah. He's too dangerous. So I'll be interested to see how that works. But I also think if Vinicius has to track back, Trent will still cause problems. It should be a really, really good game.
We've got an episode of Hot Facts coming out on Saturday morning, so I'm not going to reveal too much, but I'm going to plagiarize Lies a little bit here. He thinks that this could be a very decisive game in Trent's career, not in terms of how Liverpool fans view him, because you guys like him. His view is very much, and he delves into it more on the show, so I'm just going to give you the sort of the premise of what he spoke about, that if Trent locks off Vinny in this game, Trent's legacy across all fan bases is set. The defensive nonsense will go out. The defensive inability of him will be shut down for good, because he's done it in the biggest one-off game against one of the best inside forwards in the world. However, on the other hand, if he gets cooked by Vinny Jr. and Liverpool lose, no matter what he does for the rest of his career, that may be something that sticks with him. And I just think it was an interesting take, and I want to kind of put that to you all about legacy moments in this game as well.
And I'll ask a question just to Tom, really, because you obviously you watch Liverpool week in, week out, but obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold, his strengths isn't to track back. Like he in my opinion, anyway, from what I see, he really does it. But he always has someone covering there. Wouldn't it be on that person that's covering him to kind of make sure they handle Vinny if Vinny is ripping Trent?
That's the idea, but the issue is it's Jordan Henderson there. And one thing I've learned this season with Jordan Henderson is that man has the weirdest, most out there pressing schedule in the world. When you see a Liverpool press, I can guarantee you, if anyone's closing down Thibaut Courtois, Jordan Henderson will have sprinted 60 yards from right central midfield to put a leg out and try and stop Courtois taking the kick. It doesn't make any sense. So my worry is, you've got a midfield there in Real Madrid that are composed and are press resistant. So if they can play through that press and Jordan Henderson is caught out, Vinicius is going to love going at Trent one-on-one.
Yeah.
He needs that support. And we don't know if Thiago's going to start. Fabinho hasn't started for a couple of weeks now, so I don't know if he's going to start. We haven't got anyone who can...
Briefly.
Really quickly, just because I want to answer the whole legacy question, right? I just feel like based off of that, and Leah's, forgive me, I hope you're watching, but based off of that, based off the fact that fans worldwide, we know that Trent, he struggles to track back and he's always got to have a cover. We know this already, but we know the type of a footballer he is. Like he's just a great footballer, in my opinion anyway. He's not the greatest fullback, I get it. But as a footballer, I feel like his legacy has already... it's already defined as just him being a great footballer in general with Liverpool. And I look back to Barcelona, when you guys played Barcelona in the return fixture, and a corner kick like that already cements you as a great footballer in my eyes anyway.
Just before anyone else goes, guys, his biggest impact in the game is going to be attacking wise.
Yeah.
In my opinion. His biggest impact in the game could be a free kick, an assist, a corner. Defensively, he's going to have to do a job regardless. But his biggest impact in the game could be a free kick. He could score the free kick to win them the Champions League.
But EGAL?
No one's going to care if Vinicius Jr. cooked him if they win the Champions League, and they win because of his attacking output.
No, but it works both ways though, because a lot of people now, I don't disrupt, but the streets are saying that Vinny kept my goats quiet in that 2018 UCL final. So that's what the streets that he kept Cristiano quiet in that final. So if he has a good defensive game and also says what's up offensively, I think it also works both ways. But I think I wanted to go back to the whole Thiago thing. And it was what Nick said. The midfield battle isn't key for Liverpool. So Liverpool can easily allow Modric, Casemiro and Kroos to control the midfield, because Liverpool's game plan is get that ball as quickly to the attack as possible and attack the space as quickly as possible. So they don't need to keep the ball, control the game and everything. It's just puts that defense under so much pressure and keep pressing them and really just keep hustling them. So this is why tactically it is really good for Liverpool, which is why for Real Madrid, it's about who helps Benzema. Can Rodrigo help Benzema? Can Vini help Benzema? How influential can Modric be in the attack? Almost everywhere I see it, I give the edge to Liverpool, but it's a final. And this core have done this 4 times already. And experience is a big thing. When this core know that we've been in a final and we've won 4 finals, that experience is that slight edge. Liverpool are the better team on paper. They're the better team. But Real Madrid are like, bro, look at who we had to go through. Go through PSG, go through Chelsea, go through thingy. So their battle won. So they're like, no, we are ready to face anything because look at what we faced. Liverpool's only test was second leg, first half against Villarreal. That was the only test. So
45 minutes, you know.
Yeah. No, how about this? We keep talking about history. We keep talking about heritage, everything else. Real Madrid have a heritage of winning these cups. But the last team they did lose to in a final was in Paris against Liverpool.
EGAL, that was in the 1800s, man. Come on, man. This is 2022, man.
That was literally 1981. I looked it up.
So
when it comes down to history,
I weren't even born then.
When it comes down to history,
yeah, right, Terry, you're an old man.
When it comes down to history, there's a lot going for Liverpool on why they might win this. One, they're trying to get revenge for a couple of years ago. 2, they have won it before in the same country against them in a cup final. Let's be honest, on the run of the whole entire season, on the run of the whole entire season, throughout the cup, throughout the Champions League, Real Madrid on one-off games can be beaten. Where Liverpool on majority of these one-off games, they have still found a way to win throughout the whole group stages, and throughout the whole tournament. They
lost to Inter, didn't they? No. Was it
Inter? Real Madrid have been hot and cold. Let's be honest. They
both pretty much won and lost the same. Haven't they not? Pretty much.
Do you know what I say, Gal? Listen, I think you're right in this. Liverpool favourites. There is no doubt. It's just, and I've actually predicted Real Madrid going out in every round so far, and in every round. But then in every round, they haven't been the best team. They've had a 10-minute moment, 15 minutes in every game where they've blown the team away. If Liverpool start quick, get a couple of goals, and then manage the game well, they win. If Real Madrid are in this game with 20 minutes to go, so it's 1-0 to Liverpool, 0-0, 1-1. I honestly believe that Real Madrid will go and win it. This is one of those games where I'm predicting a Liverpool win based on probability and likelihood. But I am not writing off Real Madrid anymore. They've got too many killers in their team, and if Liverpool afford the chances to Benzema that they did to Darwin Núñez at times, the openings that Lautaro Martinez found himself in, the opportunities and chances that Villarreal were able to create, if they give that to Benzema, the form he's in, it could be curtains. And Wolves, look at that game the other day with Wolves. Wolves could have beaten Liverpool. You could have done that. You pull that face, Tommy. You sat in the room with me, and I heard you scream. No, Bill. So don't tell me that you've done it. And that's what makes this game so exciting. And I know some Liverpool fans, you're getting it as Terry. No, I'm saying this makes this final so appealing. And my kind of analogy is this: it's like Liverpool are a team with knockout power, and they're great boxers. I'm doing boxing analogy again. Real Madrid are not very good boxers, but they've got that devastating knockout power. So it can go,
Wilder.
Yeah, Mike Tyson vibe.
It can go at any way at any moment.
I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna rule out Real Madrid and Liverpool. What? I expect you to come back from Paris with that Champions League. Anything but a win is utter failure from Klopp and this Liverpool side. I'm saying
I feel like
I expect you to win. Great.
If Liverpool are to win, you guys will have to basically knock the lights out of Real Madrid. I'm talking three goals. 3 goals.
I really don't know, because we've sat here and we've had the Vinicius Trent discussion. I think it's an important discussion to have because it's arguably their biggest threat. But that Real Madrid defense is shaky. Eder Militao at times looks like a dog let off his lead, and he doesn't know where he's going, what he's doing, what a position is. Luis Diaz against Danny Carvajal. if he sizes him up, he's going to send him to a retirement home after 3 attempts. You know, we have just as much of a threat, and the way we like to play, the high line we employ, and the pace. The difference between us and City is we play with so much more pace in our attack. We don't sit there for 10 minutes at a time, boring everyone to death with centre back to DM to centre back. If the ball's not in our attacker's feet within 10 seconds, we're not going to get a good attack. So I'm assuming that he's going to play Mane, Salah, Diaz, which is our best front three. But I also wouldn't be shocked if Firmino played, to exploit the fact that Eder Militao doesn't have a brain at times and will just wander and follow a man for no reason, and then it creates space. You can get at this Real Madrid team, and everyone has shown it so far, but I back us more than any team they've played so far to keep our heads and make sure that we see it out till the end. Especially after what happened on Sunday.
I've backed Real Madrid in every single game that they played. Even against Chelsea, I said we're going to have a rude awakening. And again, in-game management will be a decisive factor here. Just
but I think...
Carlo, is he going for number 4?
Yeah,
Haaland,
4.
yeah.
It's his fourth.
So he'd be the first manager ever to have
to
4
go for
champions.
No, but here's the thing though. It's like with Real Madrid though, is that when you look at those things. So the PSG's second leg was at the Bernabeu. Chelsea's second leg at the Bernabeu. So when you have that second leg with your home crowd and everything, it does give you an edge. This is a neutral venue, one-off game. There isn't a first leg thing. Hence why people say, "Oh, look at how Liverpool were against Inter or Villarreal." You have to understand the psychology coming into a second leg when you're up from the first leg. It's different. So
Real Madrid have been to several Champions League finals where they haven't played at the Bernabeu, you know, and they've still delivered with these same.
My goat was there though. My goat was in those 4 finals.
It doesn't matter because they've got a new goat now. They got Karim Benzema doing the job that the goat was doing before. You know, like it doesn't matter.
Karim the dream, man. Karim the dream.
EGAL was talking about history and how it could affect this match. I'm talking about heritage. Both teams have that Champions League heritage, but in recent times, Real Madrid have gone to every single Champions League final and won. That is heritage for the last decade. Like they have gone to every single one. 20 years. Won. That's pressure.
Do you know what's crazy as well? You look at Barca. Barca had that team, didn't they? Like the Messi team. They won 3 Champions Leagues in like 6 years. You got to think, and that was a period where Barca were dominating domestically. But you actually start to think about it. In that time, Real Madrid won 4 Champions Leagues. They could now have their 5th. They've just won another league title. It's like they're just a relentless team. Sorry, Egal, you can say something.
Sorry, I feel like we are doing this thing where you guys want Real Madrid to win, but I really do believe I really do believe the team that is going into this more favored is Liverpool.
Yeah,
Real Madrid have already won the league.
You'll agree, yeah.
Real Madrid. Okay, so my mistake. Everyone's in agreements, but Real Madrid also have been on the beach for the last couple of weeks, where Liverpool have been still fighting for the league, still fighting for the FA Cup. They still are been in these pressure moments. So could that negatively affect them or could that positively affect them?
It can go either way. It can go either way for Liverpool. Yeah, it could go either way because it could either give them that momentum or they can be knackered as hell. They played the most games in Europe. They could be knackered as hell at the same time. So it can go either way for those players. And Real Madrid having a break, celebrating, coming back, thinking they're on top of the world, that might play into it as a factor as well. Who knows?
Yeah, I think, do you know what, Gal? I think everyone's in agreement here in the sense of people are just making an argument as to why Real Madrid could do it. And I think there's no prerequisite here. There is no, it's 100%. Some people will say it's 100% going to be Liverpool. And if they win it, go, see, I told you. But they don't really believe it's 100% Liverpool. You're against Real Madrid. I think the arguments of them being on the beach, Anita's right. It's twofold.
I think it's probability also.
But Real Madrid are not as good as Liverpool right now, so you've got that. But being on the beach, like my question to you would be just a simple answer, really. Do you think that Real Madrid as a football club Carlo Ancelotti is a manager, and this squad of players has just won the league. And as by the way, the majority of them have won 4 Champions Leagues in the last 6-7 years. Do you really think they're going to spend the last 2 weeks eating the wrong foods, going to bed late, not training and drinking?
No hazard jokes, please.
No, they're going to.
Sorry, hazard, yeah.
They're going to be fully prepared for this game, but also their record in this competition could go against them. The fact that they've won all these back-to-back Champions Leagues, this could be the one that they lose. And it's just, you can't consistently go into the Champions League every single year and expect, you know what, they're going to go into the final and win.
And that's why we've all said, like, Liverpool are the favourites, but you can't write them off. Well, I think I kind of feel like you're sort of preaching to the converted. We've all said Liverpool are the favourites, but it could go either way. Like, there's lots of arguments why Real Madrid could win and Liverpool could win, and I think they're all valid. I don't think anybody has kind of written off. No one has sat here and said Real Madrid will win it. Nah, no way Liverpool are doing it. Like, I haven't heard that myself.
I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to bring some balance to the argument.
I thought there was balance, but
I said Liverpool are definitely winning.
I'm putting both sides.
No, what you have to understand is, I don't really care who wins. Obviously, I don't want Liverpool to win. I don't want Liverpool to win another trophy. Obviously, but when it comes down to it, you guys have deep-rooted history with Liverpool where you hate them, and
you love them.
Chelsea definitely do.
I do.
Definitely do.
I do have some deep-rooted history, right, with Liverpool fans. And Liverpool fans, yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. So obviously, I've got that deep-rooted with the ghost goal, etc., whatever, right? But at the same time, real recognizes real. Like when you see Liverpool playing the way they are, as a football pundit, you cannot sit here and put that rivalry in front of what's in front of your eyes. Like you gotta understand that, yeah, Liverpool they can do the damn thing. But at the same time, if Eden Hazard lifts that Champions League trophy, everyone has to block me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean,
everyone has to block.
Look, I kind of agree with you in the sense of course, people are going to make the arguments more for the team that they want to win. But equally, what do you expect? What do you expect Man United? Like, there is no self-respecting Liverpool fan on the planet that expects to see the Man United fan base as one and the Chelsea fan base because their rivalry sitting there and not making an argument for the other team, especially when it comes to previews. But all of us have said, I make Liverpool my favourites. If I'm going to I've got a bet. I've got a £30 bet on Liverpool winning. If it comes in, I'm winning 330 quid. I've done that because that way it will soften the blow. It will soften the blow if it happens. You know what I mean? And that's because I think they're going to do
Liverpool.
But I also would quite like to see Benzema, Modric, Bale with like a 5th Champions League. Players doing that. Like, I wonder, I would love, like, I know you wouldn't.
Imagine if they pull a Shaq and they ask Ronaldo how it tastes.
Well, this is what I'm about to say. Imagine they fly on the room in a room with Ronaldo because he decided to leave, and they win another one before he does. But I've got some super chats I want to do here. There's lots to get through before the end of the show. Plenty of players leave and join clubs for various reasons. Sometimes passion for the game, not the club, is enough. It's an opportunity for both sides. Agree with you, TJ. How good is he when his 18-year-old Pedri outshines him? I think he's talking about Eddie Nketiah. Thank you, KC. We need more League Gunner than
stop hating. Leave EGAL alone, man. Leave E alone. Stop hating.
My bro alone.
We need both EGAL and League. Listen, if everybody was a League Gunner or everybody was EGAL, it'd be very, very boring. That's what annoyed me about the toxic positivity gooners over the course of the season, because I just wanted every Arsenal fan to tweet and say the same things. I'm like, do you know the irony in it? A lot of these guys have tried to become content creators. It's like, bro, if you all have the same opinions, content creating dies. What's the point of watching anyone? Anyway, isn't Cho on 120k a week? He could very well be. You guys should have took that 50 mil, man. Trimming the wage bill. Remember Arsenal cheered trimming the wage bill in January. Now they are paying Eddie Nketiah 100k a week. Bale says Mane is not on 100k.
No, he's on 150.
150. If you want a Liverpool one, Luis Diaz is on 67,000.
Yeah. But that plays into what I said earlier about when you're a certain club in a certain position with a certain manager, you can get away with paying people less because they just want to be there. In the last 5 European Club finals, no club has scored more than 1 goal. Liverpool haven't been great in big games, so we have to be clinical and not give the ball away close to the goal. 1-1, Liverpool win on penalties. That's a great point. It's a really good point there. Breaking news, Pookie signed for Arsenal. That's the level Arsenal signings the transfer window.
EGAL, well done, man. Congrats, EGAL.
That really acknowledged. I
Is it
respect your
super
super
chat?
chat, but come on, come with
No,
better
I
than-
respect the
that's
Football
terrible.
Terrace loves its super chatters. And by the way, all the people that have been sending thank yous into the pre-recorded videos, thank you very much as well. Football Heritage will win twice in 1 week. Want that roasted red phoenix with Salah.
With salad on the top. I get it, salad.
Thank God it's Salah, because I thought that was a different dude.
You know what?
Yeah.
Everyone used to love Mo Salah. Then he became a problem. Now
still love
everyone hates
him.
I don't dislike
I
him,
still
but
love him.
yeah, I think you got to realize something, and I still think you struggle with this in football fandom. I can rate a player, but still celebrate him not doing like when they're a rival player. You got to get at them. Like I like Bukayo Saka. I had the man's face painted on my studio wall. I like him. But if he has a bad game for Arsenal, it's banter.
No, Terry, he does get it because he gets onto Spurs, regardless of whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. So he gets it. I don't understand the question.
And Chelsea will just the same
I'm not
thing
allowed
to
to do that, right? I'm not allowed to do that.
Who said you can't?
No, people anyways, there's fan police all everywhere. What are you gonna do?
No,
when they police, you do it again harder.
Exactly.
Yeah, harder.
Exactly. Like you just got to keep doing it and be yourself and move away from them bad people. Chelsea and Liverpool have both played 63 games after the Champions League final. That's a madness.
We're counting the Super Cup there, which we weren't allowed to count a couple of years ago. Come on.
But they played it. They played the game.
It still counts, man.
It's a game. Julian Alvarez scored 6 goals in 1 match. Why did City need Haaland? Because City want to win the Champions League. That's why.
When everyone's talking about Liverpool playing all these, and Liverpool done brilliant because they played in every game available to them. But it's funny, as you say, time goes on, all these stats come out, and people think it's the first time ever. Man United in 2008-9 played 68 games because we won the Champions League, we played Community Shield, Super Cup, of course, 38 Premier League games, won the League Cup, got to an FA Cup semi-final, went to the Club World Cup, and got back to the Champions League final. Like, whatever's been, these things have been done. It's not the first time. Liverpool aren't setting all these records.
And even on top of that, it's like you've got this element of like, I mean, that's actually in some respects that was pretty close to a quad as well. It's just that you didn't win it is. But what also annoys me is when people talk, players play too much football nowadays. You go back and do your research. They've been playing this amount of games for like 20 fucking years. It's just a nonsense. Squads are even bigger now as well. And by the way, and half our clubs, all of them, are going to swan off around the world in a few weeks. No one's worried about fatigue or problems then. It's all nonsense. Real Madrid's first 6 European Cup wins had 7 matches. That's 3 teams just to reach the final. Just saying, no English clubs were involved.
Yeah, but then you can counter that argument with only the league winners got into the Champions League them years. It was very, very elite them years. You had to win the league.
Mario, what I would say is this. Listen, there's lots of things that people that remember the time say. There's a lot of talk that in the 70s and 80s, the European Cup wasn't considered that strong or that important, so winning it wasn't as prestigious. Of course, the teams that won it in that era would disagree. As a Man United fan, we would have more than 3 if it wasn't for the Munich disaster, because that team was the best team in Europe, and it was like an average age of about 20 years old. It would have won. They had predicted it would have won 2 or 3. That's how good a team it was in that era. But that's just life. Things happen. Eras are different. The first team that did the Invincibles did it in the early 1900s. You know what I mean? It's just these things happen. Do you remember that debate we had on Spaces where it's like literally 1 minute people are saying Chelsea can't count trophies from from the 20s and 30s, but then or the other way around. People love to chop and change when history doesn't matter. It makes me die. It makes me laugh. But there we go. Listen, guys, absolute pleasure sharing the screen with you all again. I want to thank everybody so far that has clicked on the link. There's the big QR code for you. And that, by the way, is a rare David Beckham card in the middle. I thought I'd rep Becks in that. Make sure you scan the QR code or click on the link and check out So Rare, the sponsors of the show today. Anita, pleasure to have you back. Always fun, Neeks and Have Hope. Gal, good to have you out of hiding after the disappointment of Arsenal's situation.
I'm never hiding, man. Just invite me.
And I don't do any of the inviting anymore. Let people know. KJ does all of it. It's his job. So I just sit back and wait for the list. And Tom, I want to wish you all the very best on Saturday. I hope it goes exactly how I want it to for you, my friend. I really hope it does.
And I know exactly how you want it to go. You want it 3-0 inside 15 minutes, me in tears as Kareem Benzema puts a dagger in our season.
Yeah, I would not laugh. I wouldn't banter. I would do nothing because my team's in the mud, and you're not allowed to laugh at rivals when your team's bad. Although right now, officially, my team's joint top of the league, so it's all good. All on 0 points. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. Listen, it's proper shameless. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.